Can anyone see the bottom? Is that a rock near the surface of the water? These were just a few of the questions being asked by my fellow members of the cross-country team as we looked down. We were standing on top of 3 tunnels, a huge hill located next to a muddy creek in the woods of Tamanin Park. As we gazed down, the sun was bouncing off the creek, which added to the difficulty in seeing if there were any rocks or snakes hiding just beneath the surface. As I looked at the creek from high above, I could not help but feel sick, worried about what was in the water, and fearful of what would happen to me if I jumped. I could feel the tension in the atmosphere, and I knew I was not the only one thinking about what would happen. We instantly all looked at Chris Muldoon, knowing that if anyone was to jump first, it would be him. Muldoon, as we all called him, had a special kind of mindless courage that allowed him to perform any action and not worry about the consequences. It was an unspoken understanding that we would all base our decision on jumping off on how Muldoon felt after he jumped. "Do it, Muldoon! You won't! No, but..." Tim Flanagan, captain of the team, stopped mid-sentence as he noticed Muldoon had already started running and leapt off the edge. Muldoon didn't even take off his black shirt or yellow shorts before he took the plunge. And what shocked us all was that he didn't just jump off the edge, but did a front flip as well. Splash! Our stomachs sank. We all stood motionless and silent as we waited for him to emerge from the depths of the murky water. We all wondered whether he was okay, or whether he would come up with a gash on his body, or even something worse. Endless seconds passed until his head was visible again. With seemingly no injuries and his goofy smile, Muldoon yelled, "The water is great!" At this point, I knew what I had to do. I told myself to man up and do something cool that I would remember for the rest of my life. I threw off my black t-shirt and I tightened the laces on my Saucony brand running shoes. I started running. Faster and faster. My mind went blank as I got close to the edge of the petrifying cliff. In an instant, I was airborne. Time seemed to slow down as I noticed I was reaching the peak of my jump. Just as quickly as I jumped, I felt the force of gravity acting my body and bringing me down. Everything went silent, and the reactions of my teammates were soon inaudible. My stomach was turning due to the sensation of weightlessness caused by the free falling. I was gaining speed. Time seemed to stop. Splash! Everything went dark. My body lay motionless under the surface of the creek. Then my mind started to wake up and I realized that I needed to get to the surface for fresh air. The water pressure lessened as I approached the surface. I emerged. I had survived the dive. I instantly felt so much better about myself and yelled, "Let's go, you girls!" Since I was one of the first 2 guys to jump, I felt a new sense of confidence, like my manhood was amped up. The rest of the team eventually jumped in as well, but only after they saw me and Muldoon climbing onto a tree that had previously fallen and jumping off of it into the water to show that it was safe. That day was the first day I took action, even though I was scared of what was going to happen. I jumped into the murky unknown, taking the risk and making it out alive. I often remember this incident when I am faced with a daunting task. It's not always something physically terrifying I must overcome. Sometimes it's an overwhelming paper or asking a pretty girl on a date. In these moments, I think about 3 Tunnels Creek and how I just needed to man up and take the jump.